This piece of advice came from my grandfather, and today I want to share it with you. In a small farming village, there was an old man everyone called lazy. He didn't work. Instead, he spent his days sitting under a large tree, just talking about his grand plans. He'd say, "One day, I'll open a shop. One day, I'll buy land and cows. I'll make money without even getting tired." But that day never came. After a while, people stopped laughing at him. They just looked at him with pity. His wife would sigh and say, "Life doesn't live on dreams. It lives on work." He'd just shrug and reply, "Someday, I'll find a way." Years passed, and life got harder. One night, his grandson, barefoot and thin, asked softly, "Grandpa, is there any bread?" His grandmother opened the cupboard, and it was empty. The old man stared at the floor, a lump forming in his throat. He realized then that dreams couldn't be eaten, and ideas could never fill his stomach. He didn't sleep that night. The next morning, with shame in his heart, he went to work in the fields as a day laborer. The work was cruel. The sun burned his skin, his back bent lower each day, and his hands became raw and painful. Sweat constantly ran into his eyes. Standing in the middle of the field, he'd whisper to himself, "This feels like a chain." At night, he'd come home tired and silent. His wife would serve beans and 2 tortillas. The boy would hug him and ask, "What did they give you today, Grandpa?" The old man would look at his small pay and say, "It's little, but it's something." But the money never stayed. Sickness took some, medicine took more, food took the rest. Only a few coins would be left on the table. Week after week, the pay came and went. The roof still leaked. Hunger remained a constant guest. One afternoon at the village store, he heard some men talking loudly. One said, "The secret is saving. If you save, you're safe." Those words stuck in his head. That night, he found a large glass jar and hid it under his bed. Every week, after buying only the bare necessities, he'd drop the leftover coins inside. The sound made him smile. It sounded like hope. One day, his grandson found the jar. "What's this, Grandpa?" he asked. "That," the old man said proudly, "is our tomorrow." But saving was hard. He didn't buy new shoes, even when his old ones fell apart. The food on their plates became less and less. They ate slowly, trying to make it last, but the plates were never full. One day, his grandmother couldn't stay quiet any longer. "What good is saving if we're starving?" she asked. He didn't look up from his plate. "Someday, you'll understand," he muttered. The jar slowly filled. To the old man, it looked like safety. One morning, he took it to the market and placed the money on the counter. "I want 3 sacks of corn," he said. The seller counted the coins and shook his head. "Prices went up," he said. "This buys half a sack." The old man froze. "Money loses value," the seller added simply. On the long walk home, the jar felt heavier than ever. That night, he poured the money onto the table and counted it again and again. "It never grows," the boy said quietly. "What's the use of saving, Grandpa?" The old man had no answer. His days became dark. He grew weaker, and the food was never enough. He felt like there was no way forward. One morning, sitting on his porch, he saw his neighbors passing by. One carried eggs, another carried bottles of milk. They walked calmly, without fear in their eyes. Then he remembered his grandson's words from long ago. "What if we buy chickens?" For the first time, he truly listened. He took the last of the money and bought a few thin birds. When he let them loose in the yard, the boy laughed and ran after them, shouting, "Now we have an egg factory." At first, they found only 1 or 2 eggs a day. They ate some and sold the others. With that little bit of money, they bought another chicken. The old man wrote everything down in a small notebook. Every single egg mattered. Soon, the yard was filled with the sound of clucking chickens. Neighbors started coming to buy fresh eggs, and for the first time, the work felt good. One afternoon, holding an egg in his hand, the old man said to his grandson, "This is worth more than a jar full of money. It feeds us, it grows, it doesn't lose its value." The boy hugged him. "So you're not lazy anymore, Grandpa?" The old man smiled, his eyes wet with tears. "No, my child," he said. "I finally learned." The glass jar stayed forgotten under the bed. Whenever people talked about saving money, the old man would point to his chickens and say, "Saving money is like holding water in your hands. It always slips away. You have to make it work, even if you start small." And that is how the man once called lazy learned the greatest truth of his life. Don't just save money, make it grow. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more.